Hello? Hi. Okay. Um, let me, alright, let's check out this analytic. Okay. Hi. For posterity's sake, drop frame rates. Come on. Okay. For, for the sake of, posterity, this is my second live stream. The first one that I did yesterday, it didn't save. It was live. I have witnesses that it was live, but it did not save the 3 hours I spent on the 6 fan art challenge that I started. Oh well. I still have the drawing, so it's not the end of the world. I didn't lose any real progress. I'm just a little disappointed. Anyway, my name is Simon. I have a habit for repeating myself, but as I've mentioned in my first attempt, that I'm stuck in quarantine just like everyone else, and I decided to feel in an effort to get a sense of accomplishing something today. I thought I would provide video evidence of myself drawing something. I am not a professional artist. I don't do this for a living. I just I've drawn well enough. I've grown up drawing well enough to be complimented for my skills, but I do not have the patience to do it for a career. But the 6 fan art challenge is a great way for me to try to go back into drawing, to getting used to it, and also gives me a chance to experiment with streaming, figuring out the ins and outs before I go for I try for a harder streaming project, such as, well, gaming, I guess. Uh, I have a few ideas what I would like to stream as a game, but for now I'm content with just doing these drawing exercises. I'm gonna send. Okay, let me Alright, give me a second. I need to make yet another. You know what? I'm. I'll try again. I'll try again later in the stream to see if I can connect some of my Facebook contacts to show up, so that I can test once more to make sure that that this is streaming. But yeah, okay. So I want to spend. So before I get started, yesterday I worked on, of the 6 fan arts, I had begun the process of working on Yellow Diamond from Steven Universe. And my second request, of the 5 out of 6 characters I was requested, was Metis. Admittedly, there was no clarification that it was Metis from Persona 3. I've interpreted it as drawing Metis from Persona 3, so I will do so. But I'm gonna spend the first. I'm gonna start with a warm up first, just to just so I can get the relative kinks out of getting used to the tablet that I'm using, which is a bamboo pad from Wacom. So there's no fancy screen on it. It's just basically a mouse pad with a stylus. It gets the job done. But I imagine there's a degree of dissonance for the placement of my hand and what I'm looking at the screen. Sorry, adjusting my chair. Okay, let's warm up. Let's get a warm up. I like to draw very simple characters. Whoops. Knock that off. What's going on? Oh, I'm hitting the button on the stylus. Alright, my fault. Alright. I like to draw fairly simple, large, kind of roundish characters as an exercise. Characters with simplistic design that a child could draw. Does that be great? I mentioned this in the previous stream that is now lost to the ages. Maybe I can find it, I don't know. But provided that it's lost to the ages. I mentioned in the previous stream about what I like about drawing, at least, I guess, at least digitally, but this does also apply to classic pencil to paper. I enjoy discovering the drawing in the process, where you start off thinking your art's gonna look a certain way. Like, I know what I'm gonna draw, it's gonna look like this, it's gonna be great. And then with all the light lines, my lines could probably be a little lighter. Let's have his second arm go behind his robust self. That with all these lines, all these little lines that I've been drawing, I create a basic roadmap of what my final project is going to be, but also I might surprise myself with something I did not initially plan out. So, for example, the character that I'm currently drawing is classic Eggman, classic Dr. Robotnik. I did not set out believing that the individual elements that I've already begun on were gonna shape up this way. And, you know, for the record, I'm not gonna worry too much about the final product of this sketch. The point I'm just trying to make is that or what I started to make, is that in the process of all these lines, sometimes like a magic eye painting, you can discover lines you may not have seen before, uh, that you accidentally created in this horrifying mess, and go, oh, I want to draw that. I like maybe there's something here. Uh, like okay, for example, let's get a darker layer going on and choose a darker line. Robotic typically does not have like a kitty face, but I saw it amongst this mess. I was like, oh, and yeah, I like I like that discovering details in the process of the rough mapping of the character. This is also, I guess, my way of saying that it's because of this long kind of process that I think it's possible for anyone to draw. Because, like, just looking at my character right now, you can kind of see it, and like if you have like low self-esteem or something, you might be thinking, oh, I could never draw this. Well, the thing is, I could never draw this if I mess up with the, what is it? Like the connecting. I'm slowly connecting the dots of this figure. Um, Connecting the dots of this figure, of this giant mess that I made, and anyone can make a mess. So if you can make a mess, you can find a drawing somewhere in that mess. You can find art somewhere in that mess. Which is the first nice pseudo philosophical thing I'm speaking of tonight, I guess. Possibly to no one, but we'll see. The other advantage of just oh, okay, not advantage. What I like about streaming online is that even if no one shows up, no one shows up to watch, at least I've still got the drawing. At least I'm still crafting something. This is, to a degree, this is all for me. Sorry, I'm now. I try to select really relaxing. Don't get too distracted by soundtracks. That also might be appropriate for whatever character I'm going to draw. But I try to avoid songs and soundtracks that would be definitely distracting. And I'm currently I'm playing the Skyward Sword complete soundtrack, and Groos's theme has come up, which is immediately not distracting in a way that, oh, I'm gonna stop drawing now, but distracting in a, oh, that's so funny. I'm smiling, and that smiling is slowing me down. Also, because I'm not super like well, tech savvy among other things. I'm not used to switching back and forth between my tablet and my mouse. Uh, okay, what do I want to do? Oh, you know what? Let's uh, layers, simple color red. Let's oh, but I'm gonna make this lower than the current line art thread layer, not thread. Let's get a nice shade of red. Nice size. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by being distracted. Okay. Okay. I I might have said this already, so I'll apologize. I'm apologizing for repeating myself. I like to draw characters that I think are simple design, child could do it, and that I can do from memory. So that involves a lot of the classic Sonic characters and characters like Kirby, Waddle Dee, maybe King DDD, but that gets he gets a little more complicated. A little. Like those characters are designed to be simple. Oh shoot, that's what I was doing. Whoops. I didn't change to the shade of black that I want for this layer. Man, I do not remember there being this much Groose kind of entourage, like motifs. Yeah, classic Eggman. It's weird how much I prefer to draw this version of Eggman, and yet I grew up with a much more complicated Eggman via I guess the North American attempts at creating this darker, edgier, but also voiced by Jim Cummings, so very scary Eggman. Instead of having these cool, opaque blue sunglasses, his eyes were black and soulless and red, scary. And whereas modern interpretation and also just the original interpretation is he's basically a child. A child with 300 IQ, but still kind of a child. Okay. Simple layer. Simple color yellow. This is more of an orangey yellow. The sort of, what is that? Like a cape lapel thing? You know, I haven't really looked at the sprites of the original uh, Robotnik for a while. I wonder if his nose is the same color as his shirt, or if it's a different shade and is like pink. Oops. Because that, like, part of the reason why I get why the Saturday morning, the various Western cartoon shows gave Robotnik these black soulless eyes is because the sunglasses, they're just, I'm pretty sure they're just black round spots in the sprite. And because North American Kirby is hardcore, that interpreted a void, like the classic Sonic 2 box cover of this void with a fiery beard man. Okay, let's try to do some line art. Oh, gotta shrink this one down. Oh, hey, I see you switching layers on me. Alright, I won't worry too much about uh, pressing undo on my first stroke, because apparently that's what switches my layers. One of the bigger problems I had in the previous stream, I kept going to the wrong layer, the background layer, or what I called the background layer. Okay. Can't I make I regularly I make fairly careful single strokes because really don't want to redo I as an illustrator I also don't have that much confidence in my own ability, but since I'm making an effort to be less self-deprecating about my own abilities, I know I have the confidence and the... Man, I've given this guy a huge nose. That is a honker of a nose. Does classic Eggman have, like, nostrils? Oh well, still, this is just... Still just the warm-up. Took forever to get... for the Jim Carrey to get the classic Robotnik mustache. Oh well. I'm glad he got the part. Not that that was necessarily like this huge like, oh, we internet, we need your help. This man deserves to be Dr. Robotnik, and the studio just doesn't want him to have this role. So please sign this petition and get Jim Carrey the role of a lifetime that he was born to play. I don't even think he was born to play. It's just I think he's perfect for the role as a film that was made in 2018, 2019, released on 2020. Man, how does... I don't really know how Eggman's head actually looks. Like I can see the Saturday morning cartoons like weird bump skull that I've accidentally given him. When I really want to go for more of the OVA classic round dome. Spending a lot of time on just the outlines. That wasn't the intention. Just a warm up, so let's pick it up a little bit. Seriously, what would this be called? The yellow sort of spike. I guess it's just the front of his very short cape. Because they're not shoulder pads, they're not a chest piece. They're just it's just what he wears. Okay, alright. Okay. Yeah. I think many artists will tell you that hands are not their favorite part. You just kind of make these large sausage roll things. We just don't have time. We have a perfectly good characterized face to worry about. I mean, okay, this outer line sucks. Alright, hold on. Let's get a wider... Oh. Wider, possibly as a pun, but not necessarily. Do I mean, okay, definitely. Alright, I'm kind of laxing now on the... I'm trying to be careful. You know what? Let's take a look at what we got. Think we're doing... Oh, well, right. Yeah. This is okay for a warm-up. Got the general gist of the intent. I could definitely clean it up. let's get rid of. What does it look like? Yeah. You can still see where I could go, including like the buttons on the pants. Whoops. But the underlayer, the layer 3, provides a nice roadmap of what I can do to make this drawing better. Like I can make the mustache. I probably can leave the mustache as is. Anyway, that was just the warm up, because that's not what we're working on today. We're working on Metis. I want a fairly light blue to start. Let's see. Oh, hey! Okay. I got Mr. Isaac. Hey, Mr. Isaac. If you if you are able to see it, as I've been told, there's a bit of a lag issue. But okay, all right. We have at least one person from Facebook whom I did not connect a link to that I was starting, but I did on Twitter. So okay, yeah, this is a good start. Yeah, you know what? I know you're joking. I know you're joking about Gerald Robotnik. He kind of has more of a Gerald Robotnik nose and forehead. It might also be like the paler yellow face, the a paler yellow color scheme that is very much to the filter of the Sonic Adventure 2 cutscene. But yeah, no, I should move on. I should move on to the actual project that I intend to do, which is yeah, Metis from Persona 3. Now, if anyone has played Persona 3, but you have not played The Answer, the sequel, the sort of sequel, direct follow up from the Persona 3 PlayStation 2 FES, Persona 3 FES. Yeah. Metis was the mysterious sequel robot claiming to be the sister to Aegis, as she guides. This is alright. Didn't get a good vibe from that. Also, let's hide away Yellow Diamond for now, so I don't constantly. What? That's part of the background. Man, Yellow Diamond background. Alright, well, fine. She can just stay there as a ghost, as a ghostly figure of what I've done. Go for lighter. Okay. That might be too late. Well, that's fine. So, I had some feedback. I had some feedback about the stream last time, including what I could maybe try to do to make sure this was a more fluid experience. I could lower the bit rate, which I have. Uh, hopefully that has made a major improvement. I've also read of another solution of it would need some kind of home renovation, honestly. I'm not gonna worry about that though, and I don't think I I don't know how common I'm going to be streaming as a scheduled thing. It'd be convenient, definitely, if I did this once a day. But tomorrow, there's this. I believe it's a live uh, Facebook screening thing of Anime Hell, which is a compilation video of odd Japanese and anime antiquities. Is that the word I'm looking for? Oddities like strange commercials and mostly a lot of Space Battleship Yamato for 2.5 hours. Basically, the amount of time that I might dedicate it to making a stream like this. Uh, so I'm definitely not, and because Anime North, which is a convention that would have traditionally happened this weekend, has been canceled. So, yeah, that's my small way of getting to experience Anime North this year is to watching, spending time to watch on that. Probably won't do any streaming on the weekend because that's when the whole family gets to stick around, and maybe I can finally finish watching the new She-Ra with my brother. Uh, we've watched 6 episodes, I think, so far. Uh, no spoilers. I've been spoiled about one, like, for lack of a better term. I've been spoiled by a ship, but it was also okay. All right, that's not a big deal. I mean, okay, it's a major deal for a lot of people. I mean, it's not a major deal that I was spoiled on it because it was, you know, I not like obvious, but like the ideal. Yeah, I kind of want to see that. That doesn't look like a forced shipping thing. Uh, okay. I'm looking I'm looking at some of the chat, and either they've gone back in time, or my ability to look at the chat is slower, which would put me behind. That's interesting. Okay. Um, I've also mentioned in the past, and I will always mention it. I'm a bit of a slow. I'm a slow illustrator. So try to bear with me. One of the feedbacks that I got, which makes perfect sense, was that I should, if I wanted to do something with, uh, if I'm worried about engagement and I want to make the best possible stream uh, service, quote unquote, as possible, I should consider switching it up. If I get, if it takes me like I should dedicate an hour to drawing one character, and then you know what? Let's move on to another character. Oh, right, I gotta. Okay. Might have been a little cheaty. The advantage of drawing digitally is to just take as many shortcuts as you need. All right, I never explained. I never finished explaining Metis. Secret Sister claims to be a secret sister for the robot girl Aegis of Persona 3. Um, she's the guide to the, what's it called? I want to call it the labyrinth, but I feel like that's the name of, well, the labyrinth from from Persona Q, Shadow of the Labyrinth. Um, Anyway, uh, very long story short, this is sort of the plot twist of this 30-hour game, but it's also a 30-hour game that is minus like the charm of the original Persona 3. It's primarily level grinding, some story, no social links. So it's kind of a drag to get through. Um, and I understand why some people just don't want to get into it. Um, I did because I had the time, and at the time, Persona 3 was like my favorite. Certainly my favorite RPG. That's a safer bet to make. Um. Anyway, uh, at the tail end of the 30 hours, maybe even less, it's revealed that Metis is just the shadow personification of Aegis's human feelings that she had developed over the course of Persona 3 proper, and she threw aside because, spoiler, but also not really spoiler, because the game kind of tells you in its opening sequence that, life is fleeting, memento mori, to live is to be human, and, to live is, every person who lives dies, whatever. The protagonist dies, but apparently that ending was ambiguous for some, so they made an entire sequel to like really hammer in this guy's dead. And I guess who developed human feelings didn't want to be human, didn't want to have human feelings no more, so she was able to throw them away because, well, psychic uh, psychic powers is a thing in that universe, and it manifests into this robot girl, which is why she's only in that game and never. Okay, asterisk. She's never mentioned a game. Again, she's never mentioned again in a future game. Dot dot dot. Unless she makes a cameo in the second Persona Q game, which I have not played. Or if she shows up in like Persona 5 Royal. I seriously doubt that part. Okay. I gotta actually study now what Metis looks like before I can proceed. Um Now fortunately I actually have a Figma of Metis from long ago. So I do have a 3D model in front of me that I can use to help navigate this character whom I've never drawn before. And it looks like wherever I give her hairline, there's a very clear divide between where her hair starts, and then the back of her skull is this exposed giant golden dome. So there's kind of a limit to how much hair I can give her. Metis also has a really cool butterfly visor that sometimes she just wears over her head like it's a hairpiece. She In battle she wears it in front of her eyes, and it's this cool butterfly mask. I am definitely going to be drawing her with the mask, but it's easier to you know, figure out her face first before I go that far. And also, because I want at least one eye visible underneath the mask, I need to make one good eye. I don't know which eye. It'll probably be... This one will probably be the exposed eye, but if this one ends up looking better, I can just copy, flip, horizontal. Because that's the magic of working on digital art. What are we doing down here? Okay, alright. Oh, is the, let's see. Appears on more label. Let's see. So it's like draw on the tablet, results appears on the computer screen. There's more paper. Oh, you know what? I'll let the chat figure that one out. For the record, I really, man. Okay, so I was struck by the comment of, oh, so it's boring Labris, from the Persona 4 arena games, and boy, that might technically be true, but I really don't like Labris. Oh man, I have to choose. Well, okay, I don't have to choose. A character can be boring, and I can like one of them more than the other. And the reality might be that, okay, let's give this one to Labris. She's not boring. She's just unnecessary. But, you know, for what it's worth, I do prefer Labris over that dude from the Ultimax sequel game. What are you doing? What are you doing, Persona 4 spin-offs? Don't ruin the Persona 3 mythology because you want to have spin-off games. Persona 4. I'm looking at you, Persona 5, with your spin-offs. Roughly, okay, if that's roughly where I want her mouth to be, I need to raise her nose a bit. And if I'm raising her nose a bit, I need to raise the eyes a bit. Let's figure out the eye lines, eyebrow lines. Man, I hate that I'm kind of stuck in this. Maybe she is more boring than Labris, but I really don't like Labris. I guess if I was stuck in a sort of, well, how much do you like, how much do you actually like Metis? And I don't dislike her, and that's it. That's right. Not quite how her bangs are supposed to look, but it's at least a start. I might be considering stretching out the drawing again to fit more of the panel. It kind of looks like I'm giving her hair in the back. That's not... She don't got hair from the back. Alright, let's at least figure out her, like, sort of earpiece dome situation. If I drew more lines through the frame, I could try to center this out a little better, but I can always just move the final drawing if I'm not super satisfied. see, there's the dome piece, and then, well, the dome ears, I guess. And then there isn't really much of an additional bridge between those and the wheels that the mask is connected to. And they should probably be symmetrical. Boy, ruler might help in this situation, but not gonna worry about that. Um, let's go a little down and work on. Thankfully, relatively speaking, thankfully Metis is lower body. Uh, well, all right, her chest is way simpler in design than her intricate helmet. So this one shouldn't be too long to properly map out. Alright, there it looks like there's a space between where her shoulders and her arm meets because she is a robot, but she's a very weirdly simplistic designed robot next to her sister Aegis, who has all these like exposed gears, I guess. That might be the best way to describe that. Okay, all right. I gotta stop looking at my the figurine, and I need to actually like draw a person arm before I figure out the robot arm. Oh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, how are we doing here? Let's see. Hmm. Slightly, another. Okay. All right. Okay, I am learning a lot about the lag coming from me. Um, it sounds like one of the solutions, other than lowering the bitrate, which I did, and lowering, I think, processing speed, which I also did, is connecting, is not making this a... I'm using my PC's wireless internet connection. I might need to connect to a wired internet connection for the stream. That is going to take some home renovation, and considering the state of the world, if there's some sort of renovation in which I would require the aid of some kind of professional tech support, not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. So if I am successful, at least, in saving this stream for, like, that I can then send out, post onto YouTube or something, then I guess the purpose of the streams is just to have, like, a preview audience before, I guess, getting, like, a general audience to view it. So again, there's at least a purpose to making these stream attempts, because I'm certainly learning a lot. But yeah, little disappointing in that it's probably not going to work out as much as I'd like it to. I mentioned this, I think I mentioned this before about what I liked about the 6 fan art challenge is the sort of the discovery of one's style if you have one. Um, I'm sort of under the general impression that I don't really have a style. I just try my best to uh, emulate whatever uh, I the what I'm trying to say is I'm a little excited by the knowledge that it seems that I have a style. It's just not something that I necessarily, I don't know, approve of. I don't know. Every artist wishes they were a little better. I know I know that Metis herself has a as part of her kind of design, as opposed to Aegis, who's very much this flat kind of um, what do I put it? It's not. She kind of looks like an ironing board. Um, Whereas Metis has this incredibly like alien tight body stocking going on. I gotta. She also doesn't have a bow tie. Bow ties are crucial. If you're going to claim to be Ike's sister, you need a bow tie. Okay. She has this, so on her right arm, I might have to lower this. She has this huge white glove. There's, I guess there's a bit of a missed opportunity to not draw, I want to say more of her, but just, like, she's actually pretty flat from just the torso up. You kind of need the entire ensemble of her butterfly skirt, her one the one butterfly wing on her white gloved hand. Oh yeah, very similar to my very similar to when I was drawing Yellow Diamond. I'll go a little bit into, I guess, criticizing the design of character mode. Um, Metis is just kind of simple. Um, well, she's still alien, but very. You know what? I think my the figure that I'm using. Okay, all right. Is somewhat tripping me up because I'm looking at the doll joints and going, is that part of the design or is that part of the figure? And the answer is, well, both, but the answer is no. She's kind of designed like a figure, like a figurine. Oh, okay, all right. Um. Okay. If I made her eyes too high up. Alright, just a second. Saving, and let's see. Alright. My two support chat viewers are discussing whether or not it's on their end or mine. I'm rather confident it's on my end. That I need to potentially commit to doing something different, or resign to the fact that this will probably just be posted onto YouTube. Okay. Yeah, I don't... Generally speaking, I don't like drawing, like, the center... okay, you know what? Save again. Whoops. New layer. Metis 2. I need to figure out her eye, and I want to do that as safely as possible with a darker. Okay. Gonna provide some volume up here. Not necessarily necessary, I just kind of think it looks nice. Okay. Okay, I'm feeling a little happier about the eye. That was bugging me in a sort of depressed, do I start over kind of way. Did I mess up with that last line? I won't worry about it. Looks like she doesn't have any bags under her eyes, in contrast to Yellow Diamond. Fairly thin eyebrows. She, based on the figurine, she has a very small nose and an equally small mouth, which is not how mouths usually work. The outer line of the mouth for non-illustrators usually ends where underneath the eye line. And now that I've accidentally drawn, well, not accidentally, I intended to draw this line as a guide, but for my own creative style, I might keep it. because it adds a layer to her, you know, being artificial, but it's also it's creeping up on a Friends style of artificial people. Is she too? I might have made, even though, yes, I've intended to make her mouth on the, a bit wider than I'm getting from the example that I've got. I might have made her mouth still too wide. All the same. Somewhat ironically, I guess. Okay, alright. Good to know. Evidently from one of the members in the chat, the screen has gone black. But according to looking at my screen, looking at the Streamlabs OBS, which is the file that I'm using to help me do this stream, and what lets me see the chat, what lets me see the volume, let me seize what the actual focus of the stream is. I don't see a black cutoff. Hello. Dropped frame rates detected 98% over the last 2 minutes, a few seconds. Click to read. Notifications. Okay. Man, I don't know what to do about these dropped frame rates. Okay, well, alright, sorry, by the way. Dropped... So it seems like consistently, according to this bar, that my frame rates drop as basically to 98 to 100% every, like, minute or 2 minutes. And then there's, like, 1 minute every, I guess, 15 minutes that it's as low as 15%. Oh, hey, 15%, that's not so bad. But, yeah. But 15% doesn't, man. See, I imagine that most streamers or most YouTubers who go into streaming, they have other people. They have other people do this setup for them. And I don't have anyone else to rely on for these streams. I mean, okay, I'm getting help, but that's not what I mean by I'm not getting. I mean, there are people professionally hired to set up streams for YouTubers. I'm not a professional YouTuber, and evidently, by my dropped frame rates, not a professional streamer either. So, you know, good to know. I wonder if I would have fewer frame rate drops if, among the other things that I have to do, if I used a soundtrack on my PC as opposed to using YouTube. If I use my PC, then I would have to look up in advance what soundtracks I want to play. That might be better. I'll do that in the future. This is, of course, as I mentioned, my second stream, so I am allowing myself some, you know, oopsies. A little experimental oopsies. What are what are her eyes like? Hmm. Yeah, this really looks like a Friends character, partly because of the added robot line. I'm gonna call it the cheek line. All right. Hold on. I mean, I guess I won't really need to worry about a shine if I'm ultimately going to be putting the visor over her face, but still, I want to get this right. All right, based on the toy, there's a divide between her head and like there's a ball joint between her head and her neck, but I don't know if that's again the toy or the robot. The robot is definitely designed to look kind of like a toy. The character does. Maybe I can just let it flutter out a little like a collar and then go straight back to this kind of unnaturally thin neck. Hmm. Oh, alright, hold on. Oh, okay, alright. Well, alright, that's... Sorry, I'm going back and forth between checking on... I've been going back and forth checking on the status of the chat and the status of, well, me trying to draw this. And it looks like there's this huge side quest. There's this huge side story. Possibly technically a B story, but that sounds a little, you know, uh, d- dim, uh, diminutive? That's not the word. Well, certainly disparaging to a degree to call the chat the B plot. That's not fair. Of course, the chat is the A plot. Yes, get them. Uh, uh, Harley Harley Quinn Bane. We're trying to get the chat to work. Well, no, the stream to work. We're trying so hard. Really rely on. Uh, it's so funny that my bad Dark Knight Rises, well, alright, mediocre Dark Knight Rises Bane voice can so get really close, I think, to the Harley Quinn, also bad impression, but now and now we are allies. Yeah, it's just two faces, but it doesn't. It's only your face. I don't see mine. I had to take a. I had to drink something. Sorry. Okay. let's get back to as far as I can tell, Metis appears to be kind of inhumanly thin. Like that might be, I don't know if that's intentional or if it's just the art direction of the Persona 3 cast. Hmm. Okay. All right. Let's. The center staring straight at the audience isn't quite as. Maybe. All right. I'm gonna try something. Gonna try. Gonna try moving the eye a bit. Um. Let's. I kind of want to lower her face so she's looking more downward than straight on towards the camera, so that when I draw her visor I can create this sort of U shape. But to do that I need to at least adjust the direction of her eye and possibly shrink it. Okay. Also, now's the time to cheat a little and copy. And move this. Okay, layer. Transform selection. Wait, that doesn't... Wait, what did I do? Transform. Flip horizontally. Why isn't that... Okay, hold on. Come on. Transform selection. And flip. Why isn't this flipping? It's not... Okay, alright, so it is the third layer, but it's not... Alright, it's a start. Whoop. Okay, alright, it's a start. It definitely needs to get fixed up, but at least I have the second eye. Like, at least the first version of it. If I lower her face, I might be able to justify lowering her mouth, though. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's merge these two. Merge link. Bam, one layer. Okay, okay, okay. Whoops. Okay, alright. I think this is what I want to do. I'm gonna find out later. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Alright, what do I do? I know that last time I tried to go back and forth about either the design of the character I was talking about. Didn't talk much about Steven Universe as much as I could have, considering considering that I was drawing a character from it, which I could have used to pass some of the time, but don't like that eye. Okay, let's. I did say, because my favorite part of drawing any character is drawing the face, I often get too distracted to even finish anything else worth trying to get finished. That's on me. That's on me. So, let's try to get a version of the chest done. Because I'd like to not move on to another character, but I do want to move on trying to start drawing the outline of her visor, because I know that one's going to take me a while. And so much of this stream is just to make sure that it gets saved after all this. So I was not lucky in my previous stream, and so I am now significantly less charismatic as I was for that stream. That I'm afraid that no other person will be able to have watched. You'll all just have to believe it when I claim I was much better the first time. This doesn't usually happen. Okay, also, right now I'm kind of relying on the Figma, and I don't know if this divide actually exists on Metis. She might just be this very thin, slim, well, anime girl. Oh no, no, there is a divide. This is what I was looking at. Okay. Is this not some? This isn't like properly centered though. That might be a mistake. All right, hold on. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. I don't typically draw characters from the looking straight on towards the audience. I prefer three quarters, the three-quarter profile, in part because, okay, this it's actually mostly because of the eyes. Even though I love drawing faces, uh, symmetry. I don't like. I don't like having to worry about the about symmetry. Wait, hold on. Does she have like a golden chin? Okay, I did not notice this on the Figma. Her her sort of golden skull that encompasses the complete half of her face. There's like a chin strap that goes all the way down. Uh, I would not have looked for that. On the oh, and hey, okay, all right, there is a joint. There is a ball joint between the head and the neck. That's super useful. Um, whoops. Okay, I kind of. She's definitely my current Metis is definitely looking more and more like an Eva pilot. But now that I know that there's like a chin guard, I should probably add something. Not much, but enough. And now that I know that the ball joint isn't a hallucination, I can feel a lot more confident in, like, I guess, exemplifying it. I'll fix it up later because again I'm now once more distracted from finishing the job down here. If my anatomy was a lot more on point, I could probably work on giving her like a kind of like not an exposed rib cage, but like a very clear. Uh, oh, that she kind of looks anorexic. She kind of looks sickly. Like she doesn't have Metis doesn't have bags under her eyes, but she does sort of have this alien look to her that doesn't quite match up with Aegis, which is, you know, the point. Well, I'm okay. When I said that, that sounded a lot more dismissive. Like, oh, if you didn't get it, that's what it was. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't mean for that. Although, that is what it was. Oh, hello. Okay, that's interesting. So she has a normal shoulder bones, as though her arms are not disconnected. Um. Okay, got it. Got it. That makes sense. Well, I mean, as much sense as this is intended to make sense. Okay, alright. So she basically has a regular human arm. There's just this very awkward, like, fissure in between where the arm and the shoulder is supposed to meet. Otherwise, and again, because of like the tight nature of like her body, I can probably justify adding definition like muscle to her arm up until the unavoidable ball joint for the for what's it called? Not shoulder pads. Knee pads? Wait. Elbows. Man. Totally blanked on elbows. Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. So if I am going to go the line of adding like anatomy, then I can probably justify uh like having the anatomy reach, I don't know, further up the neck, and then so long as I'm mindful of the very clear, wait, she's an alien, here's a ball joint. I wonder if I chose too dark a layer line for Metis 2 when I will eventually need to be adding a more defined black line. I'm guessing that the gloved arm is supposed to be leather or but fabric, or definitely not a robot piece. Looks like the top of her headpiece. I'll see if it's shows up. You can't really see it because the visor's above it, but this appears to have a design on it, and then this is just flat. Okay. Do I worry about her hair now? Well, okay, alright, what I will do at least, I'll lower the eyebrow that I've currently drawn. I might just draw a new eyebrow in the future, but the eyebrow doesn't matter too much. I just need a placeholder eyebrow. Okay, let's work on Metis 3 hair. The advantage of if I wanted to use... you know what? I'll just use a different shade of blue for the hair. Still intended to be on the lighter side. Let's lower the opacity then. Wait, okay, alright, so her eye line is down here. Might have been a mistake to draw... Oh. What I'm gonna call those very faint, like, headband lines. No, I just gotta be mindful. And just go nuts. I don't think she has any, like, particular... like a stray strand that's longer in the middle. I think it's fairly evened out. Yeah, this is where the individual artist's rendition of hair comes in, because here's another spoiler. Spoiler? Spoiler sounds really rude to my future endeavors. I'm not really good at drawing hair. Not like... Now, admittedly, drawing hair might not matter as much as coloring hair. Coloring is where the real magic comes in. I'm not saying I'm good at that either, but I'm saying that if there's a place for me to, like, save this, to save this art piece, it might be the coloring of the hair rather than focusing on worrying about man, it really looks like she's got headphones on. I know that's what Aigis looks like, so I'm a little worried this looks too much like Aigis as well. But she's angrier Aigis. Yeah, until I actually start drawing the visor, she doesn't look much different from Aigis right now. If I gave her some frills, she would look more like a maid, which I guess she kind of is intended to look like one. Okay, then her hair. Her head still goes up, but her hair makes an abrupt stop. And this was just intended Gotta clean this up later. You know what? It's been long enough that if if someone were to either drop in the future or this were to be posted on YouTube, I should probably mention that I'm doing the 6 fan art challenge, which was kind of a meme on Twitter. I don't know if it constitutes as a meme because it's this positive art project thing. Um, I guess it was a meme. Anyway, uh, I thought this would be a good way for me to challenge myself, also put myself out there, and also document my process. Because if I didn't, I have honestly no guarantee if I would have worked on this at all. Now in the now I did request, as part of the 6 fan art challenge, I've requested 6 characters to make fan art of, and I got 5. I got 5 characters. So I will eventually need a 6th one. I might still hold off uh, on requests until I'm further down the project line. And I mean, okay, to be fair, I didn't like arbitrarily, okay, I got enough. I got, stop. I'm only taking these 5. No, I'm a fairly small presence on Twitter and in the internet in general. So I ended up getting only 5, just coincidentally. But one of the 5, I might want to drop. I mean, I'll only do it for the same reason that in the latest episode of Rick and Morty, Rick makes a video game style make a save spot in real life. Rick makes it because he, in an angry spat over Morty. He does it to prove that he can. So in that same vein, the request that I might drop, I would only do it to prove that I can do it, but oh boy, I'd otherwise really not want to do it. But if I did drop it, then I'd be down from 5 to 4. Still not enough for this challenge. Let's take a look. How we're doing. She's doing alright. Still just kind of looks like a grouchy Aegis. That's fine. What to do next? For a while, we can just leave the chest alone. We just have to worry about we just have to worry about the rest of the headpiece. So I'm gonna go back to this layer. And start working on the rest of her skull. As much as I can, anyway. Okay. Yeah, she's got this before the complete golden dome, she's got a small, not a dent, but an elevated golden, like, headdress thing. It's sort of, I guess it's the center of where her visor is supposed to go when her visor is not in use. You know, the back of her head actually kind of has a C-3PO golden shaped thing going on. This is a very simple dome. Okay, I'm getting a little frustrated by this. I'm going to darken it up just a tad. Okay, alright. Now, let's also zoom in a little. If I'm right about the not just like delay in like frame rates, that's a legit thing I need to look into. If there's a legitimate delay in I want to say the viewers I guess viewing the sort of product and my ability to I guess respond to the chat. I'm curious if there is this huge difference. It's hard to say without, I guess, without a consistent streaming service, which I am currently, as it appears to be, unable to provide. That's okay. Again, worst case scenario, at least I'm getting some drawing done. And I have some witnesses. Oh, right. My mouse and tablet were fighting over each other because the stylus was hovering over the tablet at the same time I was trying to use my mouse. I'm still not quite used to drawing digitally. Despite what that might seem, which I don't know if that comes across as, oh man, this illustrator is really hard on himself. He draws great. Like, I am aware enough of my abilities to recognize that I draw well, better than some, but not most. Which is fine. Let's take another look at... It really is just kind of like... Whoops. The discus is really just kind of flat. I think I can get away with some artistic license and having this sort of rotate around instead of just being the flat disc that it should be based on the position of the figure. I wonder if I wonder if people who make commissions, like, please draw this character. Um, if there's anyone who reliably feels guilty about the degree to which a character might be difficult to draw. I'm not necessarily bemoaning the current character that I'm drawing. She's, as far as her head is concerned, she's definitely more of a challenge than Yellow Diamond was. But I also get the sense that I had a lot more creative freedom with Yellow Diamond. But that's like a, I want to say that's a marginal thing, because I am also clearly drawing this Metis as freely as I want. I'm not limited by anything, but I don't think I am anyway. Gotta trick myself. Okay, I'm gonna worry about this later. Let's get the base shape of this down. Oh, okay, all right. Only now when I'm like, okay, let's rush a little. Does it turn out pretty okay? Yeah, I might copy this and flip it, steal it. Okay, how are we doing? Okay, that's too much. Kind of want to see her next to my current version of Yellow Diamond, but yeah, I think Yellow Diamond's gonna turn out much nicer once I add color to her. For now, she's all right. Okay, let's put her away. Well, as much as I can. Again, the ghost. Let's spend, because I don't want to go over 11 o'clock like I did last time. I'm going to try to spend the last... So I'm definitely not making as much progress as I would have liked for Metis as I did for Yellow Diamond yesterday. But let's try to work on the visor before I call it quits. Visor 1. I probably should have just called it visor. Okay, so her visor, when she places it in front of her face, basically completely encompasses it. Like, it covers her eyes, it covers her mostly just covers her face, but her hair and her bangs are still exposed. So I just have to very neatly probably the roughly the same shade that I used for Robotnik. It's a very dynamic V that goes far does it go? Goes about as far as here, I think. It's very triangular. Now, the liberty I'm definitely going to take, I'm going to bend at least the top to curve slightly downward in a U shape, to emphasize like her lower view, I guess is the word I'm looking for. If I wanted to provide more liberties, I could go full Common glasses. You know what? I think it's the visor that makes me go, that makes me hesitate to call Metis more boring than Labris. Because how could a character be boring when they've got awesome shades? That's the secret to having a less boring character. You see, you just gotta give them really cool shades. Uh, yeah, it's a yeah, her so her visor is somewhere between like glass stains and like butterfly wings. They're not cracks, and they are symmetrical. So long as I follow my somewhat convenient guide, I won't need to worry about. I won't need to worry about messing up. Uh, my okay. I'm trying to say that my strengths do not include shattered glass design. Probably also stained glass, which is very, fairly similar. Not the same, but fairly similar. Uh, that said, yeesh, this does get a little more complicated. Uh, it's kind of turning into a spider web. Wait a minute. I think this figure has a non-symmetrical part of the stained glass. That can't be good. That's gonna make my job really, really hard. Also, okay, admittedly, I thought there'd be more exposure of the eye within the visor. Like, again, artistic license, I can provide more, but so the frames of the mask is made of gold, and the actual lens is red, and I can make the lens partially see-through, so if I want to showcase the eyes underneath, but I probably uh you know what? Maybe I'll just, well, I'll definitely worry about it later. But I might make two versions of this illustration, one with the visor and one without. Even though the visor is so cool. It's the coolest part of her. Okay. So there's basically a line here to here. It gets a little more rounded out. More boring character, my ass. Wait, hold on. Hmm. This one's... This one's getting quite tricky. You know, I might have needed to use a different color. Like yellow or lighter to create a less dynamically somewhat distracting visor for what is still just the underlayer of this character. I don't know. I just wanted to finish up the stream with you know, something a little more dynamic than than my current kind of floundering with this particular character. I'll probably continue working on this character, not in a separate stream. I'll do this character on my own, and I'll just move on to the next character on the list. The next character, incidentally, because I will at least... So far, I've been at least revealing which character I'm working on, which character I'm drawing now, and which character I'm going to work on for the next stream. And the plan for the next one is XJ9, or Jenny from My Life as a Teenage Robot. And at least I'm pretty sure that person... Oh, maybe that person did not give me a sample drawing so that I knew not to be confused by who they were talking about. Yeah, so that's the plan for the next recording session. Alright, good to know that I'm still getting some listeners. Even if it's the one. That's alright. Okay. What am I going to do next? Okay, let's oh man, such a cool mask. Okay, alright. I'm kind of getting distracted by the mask, so let's put it away for now. But at least I've drawn it. Let's... It really is just the inclusion of the mask that adds to... Oh, that's who you're drawing. Okay. I don't know. Maybe color will probably... Color will help, I think. Okay. Let's try to get back to... I feel like I'm not adding enough to the torso, but she really is blank from this point on. Alright, let me check something. Okay. Um. All right. Let's work on her eye, I guess. We'll call it Metis 4. I'll probably need to. So, time for the slower outlines, somewhat proving my point that I'm kind of going a bit slow and will probably need to not pick up the pace, but not continue working on this particular entry for the next stream. Don't know when that'll be. I'll probably wait till sometime next week. As I mentioned before, uh, the tomorrow there's an Anime Hell video screening event on Facebook. I think it's Facebook. Um, that has been an Anime North tradition, and it's basically the only thing I've got left now that Anime North itself has been canceled. So, all right. So that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Weekend probably isn't a good idea for me, so I'll find something next week. And in the intervening time, I'll be able to find out if this stream actually saved, possibly posted on YouTube, get maybe a little more exposure. Not that I want to sound like ungrateful. That it's more just I'm trying to figure this all out. Let's see. I'm wondering if I get very worried about the quality of the outer eye. Let's take a look at the official character. I can't really discern from my JPEG quality whether or not there's more to the design of her eye. That's pretty good. Alright, that might be too much. Hmm. Okay. Let's get a... Yeah, it's looking okay. Giving her a little bit of a... I guess a shadow for her nose. That's probably too much. Maybe I need to leave it alone. Hard to say. Kind of giving her a small smiley face for the actual tip of her nose. Nope, that's too high. That's too scowly. That's really scowly. Kind of messing up here. Okay. Let's, gotta make the, proper divide attention to her golden chin strap thing that I did not properly give her when I began. Hmm. I wonder if I should get rid of the sort of puppet doll line on her cheek. Because I added that for flair, but I mean, it almost doesn't matter because of the visor that's going to end up covering it. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, the red visor is going to cover it. Let's not worry about it. If people see it, it's a nice addition, but it's not. I don't typically experiment with like thicker lines. Uh, And that's probably what the competition is able to master. Uh, all I can mostly do is just go over the same line over and over again and hope that it looks good enough. Might be less of a volume thing and more of a relocation of assets? That's not really the word I'm looking for. Oh well. Let's not worry about it. That was too much of a zoom. Hmm. Okay. Uh, I guess I will. Just move forward as I have been. Hmm. I might be less engaged in this particular stream than I was in the previous one. I do want to apologize for that. It's easier for me to bounce off either what I noticed in either the chat or if I had someone to be doing these streams with. But on the other hand, if I had like a partner, I would still probably end up getting too distracted from making as much progress as I have been. And admittedly, no, it's not as much as I might have liked, but progress all the same. Still, I do think that I'm getting fairly useful, data, I guess, concerning how I can try to manage my stream a little better. A little. Oops. Because the next character is XJ9, I imagine it'll be a much simpler stream. I don't know if I'd be able to get straight to color or even to spice things up, move on to another character. I'm pretty satisfied with the idea of dedicating the first 30 minutes on uh, a warm up. That can be the second character that I was otherwise worried about, to provide engagement or content. And sometimes the stream can be short. Don't think it needs to be 2 to 3 hours long every time. But this is doing all right. What am I doing here? Still getting notifications of dropped frame rates. So, yeah. Something to research, look into. Still, at least it's streaming. At least I've got some verified witnesses to the deed. Wonder if I should lower her visor further. I guess it depends on how her visor actually connects. Yeah, it connects to the saucers on the side of her, I guess her ears. But actually, I might need to make her mask bigger, which that will be easy. I just need to stretch out the image. This is still the rough version of the visor, so I don't have to worry about what it looks like right now. Yeah, I might need to, getting distracted. Expand and lower the mask. How much is the white ball joint exposed? Not, honestly, not that much. If anything, I'd say her chest has an overexposed or underdeveloped like armpit. It just all kind of shrinks down. Could probably afford to fix this. Not sure where the joint should exactly look. All right, let's try to at least finish inking off this sort of gloved hand. Still, what I'd probably consider a kind of rough first layer that I might fix up for during the coloring process. But for now,